What's up, y'all? It's just Rhonda. Good morning, everyone. I am all up on the stage, so if you can't hear me, then it's not on me this time. It's all the way on StreamYard. I hope everybody's having a lovely day. So far, my day is, day just getting started, but I don't have no complaints so far. Good morning, T. She ain't text me. She ain't said she can't hear me. That must mean I'm here in full effect. And y'all like the videos. Few of y'all here this morning. Go ahead, like the video, subscribe to the channel. And we got a lot of, interesting topics today. Not normally, but sometimes, I'll be looking and looking and looking and trying to find something to talk about because, I don't talk about everything that be on the blogs. I don't care about T.I. and all his children making disc records for 50 Cent. I don't really care so much about Glorilla and the rest of her family over here on the internet. So I really try to make it worth your while to come over here and talk about some things that, affect us all and, maybe educate us all. We got some very smart people over here, in the chat. If you haven't been in the chat, get into it, get into the conversation because we have good conversation over here. So, yeah, let's just get into it. It's a vibe today. It's a certain type of vibe. Segregation. I'm gonna say that. Segregation is something I say a lot. And listen, maybe it's not a popular opinion, but for me, I'm fine with it. Let's segregate. We're not the only ones that think that way. So let's go ahead and start with these people from way back in the day when we started, integrating into the community that's non-melanated, and their attitude towards the integration of it all. Let's see what they was feeling back in the day.
And we are standing up for what we think is right now.
Barbara,
I mean it.
you're playing into their hands. Let me speak to them, okay?
In the name of God, how much more are we supposed to take?
Take from what?
From you people.
I mean, you people. You sound like I'm a dog or something.
As we forgive those who trespass against us, and lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. Amen.
We want freedom! 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 No, we need our rights. They want equal rights. They're not going to give it.
And they don't have enough gumption to turn around and tell that Supreme Court to rule on the laws of the land rather than to mess with our children and ruin our education and put our country down.
You kids, man.
Now, there were appointed officials, and we'll impeach every one of them if we have to get this country back where it belongs.
Man, about time somebody do something. Now, all of a sudden, the tide is turning a little bit. You see how things feel now. You all come upset, huh? You're all upset. Say somebody taking your rights away.
We want no trouble. We don't condemn these black people. They are human beings too. We understand that, but we want our school. And we're going to get it if we have to go to Washington to get it. We are doing what they have done many, many times. Now, is that wrong, people of this world today? Is it wrong that we stand up for a change? For the first time, we are standing up for our rights. What is wrong about that? And why did he have to come over here? To order us to do what they want us to do. Now we're not going to do it. That is over. These people fight for your rights. And I
Think you know Black history?
So yeah, they don't want we want freedom. Whoever took their freedom, you fine with it too? Let's split the country. I just want to make sure I'm down south. Let's split it where some people can go north if they want and some people could go south. Let's stay on the East Coast. You know what I'm saying? West Coast can have their thing over there. Yeah, we can figure it out, T. They were screaming about wanting their freedom. I was like, I don't know what freedom that they had missed out on. They want our schools back. Listen, I don't want to go to school with that lady or her children or that man and his children. I feel like their schools is over there lying to the kids in the first place. So we have to like make sure we educate our own children. So I don't have to go to their school. I don't want to live next door to that loudmouth lady who thinks her freedom is being taken away. And somebody, and by the name of Velma Grant, um, she had a solution to their problem. This is the types of solutions that I'm here for. I thought this was pretty damn amazing. It seems like, I mean, not to, it is what it is. Feels like the black women were out here, with their boots on the ground, trying to make it right, trying to take care of the community. Before women had rights to have credit in their names, Velma Grant secured a $2.29 million loan in 1946. When 1946, like when you look and, that's what, 80 years ago? We have grandparents, I think. Some of y'all, not mine. Mine was born before that. This was like my mother was a young child though in 1946. So Grant built 640 homes in Los Angeles, California, selling them to Black people in Willowbrook, an area just south of Watts. Grant hired one of the greatest architects in the United States, Paul Williams, who designed approximately 2,500 buildings. Notably, he designed the 28th Street YMCA, the first AME Church of Los Angeles, and the Black-owned Golden Gate Mutual Life Insurance Company, and LA Coachella Motel, just a few of the projects he constructed. The subdivision of 250 affordable single-family homes was intended for Black homeowners in Willowbrook area. Grant envisioned a suburb for Black families. We grew up like that, me and T. We had a suburb, nice homes, so don't play. She sold those first homes for $11,000. Dang, those were the good old days, huh? Each sold in 110 homes on the first day. I know she did sell them all on the first day. After building the homes, she went on to build a shopping center as well. In just 3 years, she had built and sold $3,500,000 worth of new houses to Black people in Los Angeles. Shout out to her. Grant's story was featured in Time magazine article published on July 25th, 1949, which stated, 4 years ago, as a broker in Los Angeles real estate firm, she took a call from another broker asking about new houses. Asked Miss Grant, is your client Caucasian? The answer from the caller, a Negro, was cold and angry. No, she's not, and neither am I. Mulling over conversations, Miss Grant determined to get decent houses for Negroes and decided to build them herself. She got together over $100,000 to buy 50 acres, to buy a 50-acre tract in South Los Angeles, and started looking for money to finance the building. Not a banker in town would listen to her. The ideals are fine, one told her, but you must be practical. But Miss Grant kept wearing them down. Finally, the Bank of America, which prides itself on financing the little fella, agreed to stake her to a $2.29 million loan. Wow. And they're showing these houses. These are nice homes. These are not like, it's not hood. It's, nice single family homes. So where is the tenacity that that was going on back then? Obviously this lady was told no many times, but it didn't stop her from pursuing, this assistance, and she got it done. So, I mean, where we splitting east and west, we got the east side girls over here. Yeah. And y'all can have the west and do whatever it is you want to do over there. I don't really even feel like I need to cross over. I'm crossed over, since I was a child. We might have some states split in half. You know what I'm saying? We need a little New Orleans in our life. So we'll figure that out. But shout out, to Velma Grant. And so who's out here doing these things now? The tenacity, like I said, I don't know that we have it. We have a generation of, I don't care. And that's unfortunate because I feel like our parents, and when I say our, I mean mine, worked very hard, like at GM and other, what is it, Philadelphia? There's a lot of Ohio. There's a lot of states that were, factory states up there. And I feel like parents, that generation, they worked very hard. They provided a life for us to be able to go to college. There was a lot of first generation college educated students, when I was growing up. And then that generation just made it so much easier for their kids. And when I say that generation, I mean mine. The requirements, me and T have often talked about why, and why our kids are not required to hold things together the way we were. I don't understand. Anyway, I feel like they get softer and softer. And it has a lot to do with, I believe, the technology that, that they've been blessed with. It's, technology is a good thing and a bad thing at the same time. And we as adults have sacrificed our freedom for the sake of convenience. Now we sitting up here with Big Brother listening to everything we got to say. And Big Brother is a hot ass mess out there. So yeah, we segregate. If you I told y'all everybody can't come to the cookout. That's how I feel about it. You're just going to have to take them a plate. This ain't really the time to be integrating, folks down to the cookout. So when we want to commune with our allies, it's going to have to be at the potluck down to the job. But the cookout should be reserved for, folks to strategize and, bring together the revolution. Anyway, I'm rambling. We have had a lot going on. I have been running away from the news because it's so stressful. I don't know how y'all are dealing with it. It's like, what is going on? All these people, decisions being made to attack countries, and you don't even know where you're safe at. So, maybe that's just my lack of education. But when this stuff first, popped off, I feel like since I was a child, the Middle East has always been somewhere where there was fighting going on. But here we go with this man that y'all decided to put in charge, and he just want to go, later, big bang boom down on everybody. But this is Caroline Brooks, and she's one of the housewives of Dubai. I don't know if she's still over there or not. I didn't watch Housewives of Dubai, but Caroline Brooks from Bravo's Real Housewives of Dubai sat down and spoke to TMZ about the strikes happening in Dubai and her plans to leave. So she's an American, but she's been living over there. I'm going to let her say, what it's been like over there during this, I just have to call it a situation.
Dubai, is everyone just staying inside? What is your day-to-day now?
So that day that had happened was the very first day that they had began striking us. And we had just heard about it. I was just reading stuff online, and I had heard stuff from different people who had called me oh, I just heard one now. So I was reading things that different people were saying, oh yeah, America has just attacked Iran. They're going to hit us back, whatever. So I was just I don't know what's going on. A couple of hours later, I was just getting ready to clean up my salon and go. And I heard this loud, huge boom while we were vacuuming the floors. And all the windows started shaking, everything. And now I hear it was an unmanned, unarmed, whatever thing that fell.
Right.
And I don't know if the UAE intercepted it or not. I never really looked into it, but it had fallen in City Walk where my salon is. And it was literally just meters away from us. And it was very scary.
So are you getting any information there from the government, from local authorities about what sort of defenses they have in place?
In the UAE, I think hundreds of missiles have already entered into our airspace, and they've shot them all down. So they have a very, very good defense system here. I think after day one or day two, when everyone was super scared, I think by now around day 4, we're all a little bit more calm now that we see the level of defense that they do have, and they're really keeping us safe.
Is it alarming, though, when you hear this warning from the U.S. State Department saying that all Americans need to leave these 14 countries, including the UAE,
yes, when I woke up this morning and I saw that memo from the State Department, that freaked me out. Because like if America tells you to get out from somewhere, they probably have a reason to be saying get out, you know? And that was, I think, the first time where I truly felt unsafe. I felt unsafe after I read that. And then what made me feel worse was when we realized we couldn't leave. And then we tried to call the State Department, and that was no help. We got some answering service that told us, sorry, we have no routes at the moment to evacuate anyone. And I was like, this isn't helpful. You guys tell us to leave and we're stuck here. The airspace is closed and we're stuck here. So I think it's putting a lot of Americans in a very uncomfortable position. Overall, I always feel safe here. But at the moment, if America tells us that it's unsafe and that we should go as U.S. citizens, we feel a little bit uncomfortable. I mean, this has been home for 16 years. So as soon as things clear up and it's safe, we'd like to come back. It's safe now, but I mean, if they're asking for American citizens to go, I comply with the government. Shockingly, everybody seems to try to be getting back to normal life. Even through the sounds, it's only when we get alerts on our phone that tells us to really shelter in place will people do that. So now everybody's pretty much trying to get on with their life. I think everybody just feels really secure with the Dubai defense.
I'm wondering how Americans and just people in general in Dubai felt about that. Was that something you were aware of, people were talking about, or did this all come as a shock?
It wasn't a shock because we heard President Trump talking about it repeatedly and the possibility of it happening if there was no negotiations and things like that. So that part wasn't a total shock, but I think what shocked everyone was when we could physically feel and hear like things coming into our airspace. This is like, I think we never ever rationalized that it could ever be us. Nobody ever put that in their mind that Dubai, out of all places in the world, could ever have a missile or a drone flying overhead that can potentially hurt us. So we never thought, it's like, it feels like the safest place in the world. And I think it is one of the safest places in the world until this happened. They're saying that the airspace is going to partially open on Thursday, but they're not saying to what extent or what locations of flights. People are able to book flights at the moment, but they're going to keep on getting rescheduled by the airlines as long as the airspace stays closed. So we don't know, but we will figure it out. We will, as you know, it seems things are getting more serious. We will try to head out, even if it be just to Asia or something, even if we don't even get all the way home, just to see how things are going, because this is home at the end of the day. I haven't lived in Boston in 16 years, but all my family is there. So I don't want to leave, but I feel like we have to.
What is life like now in Dubai? I mean, is everyone just staying inside?
So, yeah, I can't imagine. I feel like we've never had to live through that. Good morning, Lotus Egyptian Flower. You rather watch cats memes than the news. I feel you, because it's very stressful. Yeah, they're not safe. And imagine like you're living your life. She's been there 16 years. So like she said, people are considering going to Asia. And I don't know, I guess they're financially in a position to do that. But what if you're not? Good morning, El Cid. What if you're not? So now you have to like pick up. Can you imagine getting in an airplane when the airspace is closed or, partially open? T said they did tell Americans to evacuate. However, since the airport was hit, they weren't able to leave. They're stranded. And is responsible for additional hotels fees. Yeah. Like not everybody went over there that lives there. She lives there. But how's she gonna get home? It's just wild. And people of our color, complexion, of various shades of, they have been flying back and forth to Dubai. Like Dubai been the go-to place. I have a former student and she's from Puerto Rico. And her husband, I want to say he's Syrian, maybe, but she said that if she met him in Dubai, she said that somebody from Dubai, they, gave her a job over there so she could teach Spanish to people in Dubai. And, you know, she lived over there for some time. So people go back and forth, you know, to Dubai, but, you know, getting stranded in a country, you got to pay. Imagine you about to be homeless that far away from home. And they're now telling their Americans that they need to fend for themselves. I mean, yeah. They saying that over here too. We all fending for ourselves, but you know, we do have the luxury of being like at least born here and familiar. Other countries are making arrangements for their people. Other countries, it seems like, you know, proud to be an American. I stopped getting down on one knee and, you know, putting my hand over my chest along with Colin Kaepernick. So it just didn't feel right. As far as being in other countries, this lady has a message for y'all, which, I mean, right now, I guess it is what it is, child. But don't be stuck out here. This lady has a message about passports.
Starting. What I've been warning everybody about regarding your passports is starting. I want you guys to pay attention to what happened yesterday, okay? Look at here. Nonprofit libraries ordered by the State Department to stop processing passport applications. Now that's major. This doesn't mean that you can't get your passport processed or renewed, but there are 1,400 less places in the United States that you can get it processed at. 1,400 less. Your accessibility to getting your passport renewed has been seriously decreased. Now, if you are on the fence about getting your passport or getting it renewed, trust me on this one. Hurry and do so. I need for you to please pass this message along to any and everyone. Like this post, follow me, because I'm keeping my eye on this. Okay, it's starting.
I mean, I'll be keeping my eye on it too. So at the end of the day, get your passport, get it renewed. Even if you can't, you know, their whole thing is they're trying to keep us from voting, but get your passport either way. Even if you can't fly nowhere, it's better to have it than not have it. Let me see what y'all are talking about. Southeast Asia ain't safe. Yeah, I mean, it feels like nowhere is safe. I saw just, you know, yesterday, maybe the day before. It's hard to keep up anymore, but Big Cheeto said he wanted to use Spain's, which was an ally up until yesterday, I think. He wants to use their military base. Spain said, no, y'all are not bringing that shit over here. And so this man said, they going anyway. We going anyway. What they going to do to stop us? So you just want to piss everybody off. And I don't know why we live in a space that we don't feel like we can be walking around just like that lady listening to, you know, bombs go off. I have a coworker that's Lebanese, and he said, you know, it was thunder outside, and he was saying how that reminded him of being at home. And that's just how it was, like hearing them bombs and stuff go off in the streets. I haven't talked to him when I go back to work. I mean, I'm wondering like what he's feeling about what's going on right now. You know what I'm saying? Because him and his wife and daughter are here, but I don't know about the rest of his family. The way this country's going, we're going to need a passport just to visit other states. I'm trying to, you know, when shit dies down, I'm preparing to get the hell out of Dodge. I don't know, you know, if just be careful what you say out loud anyway. So we talked the other day about these kids, these 3 boys in Miami that essayed this 12-year-old girl. And so they were trying these young boys as adults, and lo and behold, you know, we talked about what's going on in these households and why are these boys, you know, behaving like this. Here come the parents. Well, we have one parent and a father and an auntie. And so I'm going to let them talk, and then we can get back into, you know, discussing things amongst ourselves. So this is the father of one of the boys, the 12-year-old boy.
That's the mother of 12-year-old Josiah Jones screaming at anyone who would listen after today's court hearing as her son faces charges as an adult in a case involving the rape of a 12-year-old girl.
I don't care if they get 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 years, 100 years. Guess what? I'm going to always feel like as a mother, as a woman, I'm going to always feel like it's not enough.
The girl's mother speaking to Local 10 recently saying she just wants justice for her daughter. According to police, the girl was leaving a friend's home when she encountered the boys near a community garden in Overtown. Investigators allege 13-year-old Nelson Nunez raped her, while 12-year-old Josiah Jones and Xavier Tyson, who was 14 at the time, restrained her. Police say Jones put rocks in her mouth to stop her from screaming. All three boys are being charged as adults. The victim says it went on for about 30 minutes, and the boys stopped when they heard her father calling her name. In court today, attorneys for two of the three boys arrested in this case formally entered not guilty pleas, requested jury trials, and invoked discovery requiring prosecutors to turn over all evidence. They also argued their clients, Jones and Nunez, should not be in adult jail.
At this point, you have a 13-year-old kid sitting in jail, and me and I think my co-counsel, the lawyer for the co-defendant, we both will be fighting hard to get our clients out of jail.
As for Jones's father, he tells us the allegations against his son are not true.
A young black man that was visiting Miami, it was with the wrong two kids, a 15 and a 14-year-old. My son is 12 years old and has a father that takes care of him. These allegations are bogus.
Attorneys for two of the...
So you're 12 years old? You're 13 years old?
Two middle school-aged boys.
You have a grand jury indictment charging.
Now facing serious charges to include kidnapping as adults, accused of a violent act of sexual battery.
So, I hate these dog whistles. I hate these, it's a black man, these two black children. That's the fact. But there were only black people involved in this story. And so what he said was, father that's in the home. That's what he said. I mean, I'm not going to congratulate him for being where the hell he's supposed to be. I don't know who he was with, in Miami. I don't know that the father was there in Miami, but he said he was the boy went to Miami and he got connected with these older boys because his son is only 12 years old. He connected with these older boys and bad things took place. So these parents and family members are basically like, put them on the stand, defense attorney, because they over here telling to keep your mouth shut. That's what they need to do. Everybody need to shut up. As far as these boys being tried as adults, this was such a horrific thing. Like I'm not gonna lie, I'm on the fence about it. Not that they shouldn't be in jail, but I mean, they only gonna end up worse. In the prison system. So we know, only bad things can happen if we send them there. But if you go, send them over to a juvenile detention center, then, now you have other young kids that maybe didn't do something so bad in company with these boys that did something so horrific. Daddy did not deny it occurred. He said it was the wrong crowd. That's what he said, El Cid. Should he keep his mouth shut? You know what I'm saying? Well, child, you think what Daddy had to say was a lot. Let's get into what these auntie had to say. Belong in jail, not with adults. They need to be isolated. I agree. I don't know how I feel about them young kids being in the jail with adults. And I feel like there is a solution that the juvenile detention or whatever they put them, can be separated too, just like any other prison. People want to be praised for things they're supposed to be doing. Yeah. He was saying it like, I'm a black father. I'm in my home. Where the hell are you supposed to be besides in your home? And where were you at? Like when this boy was around the wrong crowd? Like I have questions. But the auntie over here of one of the boys, Nunez, she got all the answers for y'all. If this is not safe for work, I'm just telling you now, this lady from Miami is, oh so hood. And her describing this, she had the nerve to go live. These ignorant ass family members going live, yo, you gonna make sure the boy for real get locked up.
Give a fuck. He savage. So he like, shit, you been talking about you wanted to do this to me. You finna, do me like this. So I guess he got aggressive with her, and she was like, oh, no, I'm not finna do that. I'm not finna sleep with all of y'all. I'm only sleeping with him. So I guess whatever happened, while they was running the train on her, the lady who stayed upstairs must have on her way down to check her mail, or you get what I'm saying, drop her garbage or whatever. She seen them, because how the building is made, where the lady who seen the kids is like right there, and the farm is right there. So you can look over her balcony and see everything was going on in the farm. So I guess she spotted them. So in the midst of her spotted them, she like, what y'all doing in there? So that's when she want to yell, y'all stop, y'all stop, y'all stop. But she went home. She never told her mama anything. Going on 2 days. She never told her mama anything. When the lady came to find out who daughter it was, she went and told the stepdaddy. So when the lady told the stepdaddy, that's when the little girl went to tell her mama. They dragged her from the park. They took her there, and they raped her. I ain't justifying nothing. Let me tell you something. I ain't finna sit here and read y'all comment. I got on here to check her. If you gonna tell a story the right way. Don't get on here trying to make it seem like my nephew on a run or for none of that. Because if he get direct 5-2, he already got a lawyer. But I know at the end of the day, your daughter ain't telling the truth. Your daughter only pressing charges because you forcing her to press charges. Your daughter was never a virgin before she got touched. So what I'm supposed to sit here and say? All they ass need they ass whoop. I'm an old school mama. I beat ass. My oldest daughter, 19 years old, 20 years old. I don't play that. I'm not none of them mama that side with no child. When you right, you right. When you wrong, you wrong. I ain't justified what none of them did. But when you get on social media, you trying to make it seem like, oh, it's just one side, when in reality, you know the truth, and it's not that side. That ain't finna go down like that, especially when it comes to my family. How she know everything that happened and she wasn't there? Okay. Nobody got nothing to say? Like I said, exactly. Whether it's my nephew, right is right, wrong is wrong. I never justified what they did was right. At the end of the day, I told them they goofy. All y'all going out of that one little pussy, it's plenty little young girls out here that's fast. I didn't even fuck with my nephew for doing what he did because I got daughters too. But at the end of the day, I'm not saying they right what they did, but when y'all get on social media and trying to say certain things that's not true, I ain't finna sit there and let you say nothing about my nephew. He's not on no run. He has a court date. He goes in on the 5th. That's the reason why the news saying he's not getting charged as a juvenile. If anything, you heard her say in the beginning, the other little boy didn't get charged. That's the other little boy that she was having sex with before. So how y'all not gonna charge him? But y'all charging the rest. Y'all supposed to charge all of them that was there. It wasn't just them 3 there. It was about 5, 6, 7 boys in that field. So why is only them that's getting charged? All of them should get charged. Not just certain ones, but at the end of the day, like I said, she got on here and said something about my nephew is on a run. He's not on a run. He has a court date. He's going to court. Talk about running. Man, bitch, don't play with me. Like I said, at the end of the day, his auntie got lawyer fee. So whatever lawyer fee I got to pay for mine, he's straight. Long as mine's straight, my nephew straight, that's all that matter. I don't give 2 fucks. I could give 3, 5 fucks of what she's saying or what the rest of y'all side with. Because at the end of the day, I'm not saying my nephew wrong, but at the end of the day, that's still my nephew. I still got to stand by his side. I still got to be his auntie. I still got to be the one to support them. Man, hey, Sherette, I'm not caring about what these motherfuckers saying. You know that, cousin. But that bitch got on social media talking about, oh, he's on a run. On a run from where? He has a court date. You want to see that? Let me show you what his lawyer talking about, boo. You see what that say, Tyson lawyer? You see what that say? They are taking cases to the grand jury on 3-5, seeking an indictment as an adult. So how he run away? How he run away? And this is lawyer. You don't like the fact that they let my nephew go. That's what you didn't like. So like I said, you gonna get on here and tell whatever you want to tell. Tell the truth, baby. Because at the end of the day, my nephew ain't on the run. He go to court. Literally. Man, fuck you and suck my ass. Just know that.
Whoa. Take it easy. Take it easy. That's how you want to end your little spiel there, lady. So are we clear? Seems as though this lady wants you to understand, not that her nephew didn't do it, but that he is not on the run. It's baffling to me that she's calling this little girl fast. And, what about the rocks in her mouth? And, the boys that were holding her down, I think that was your nephew that was one of the ones that was holding her down. He just happened to get away before the cops caught him. Grand jury, tried as an adult. She's got it all there. She's really willing to pay his lawyer fees. She sat up there and said that what he did was wrong. Like, both of these family members have not said that this didn't happen. They didn't do it. They said they're not guilty. I don't know if they're not guilty because this girl wasn't a virgin, allegedly. I don't know. I think two things can be true at the same time. I don't know that means anything in terms of this. Like, what does that have to do with this is disheartening. The auntie is being messy for the nephew's wrongdoing. The auntie needs an ancestor ass whooping. I mean, it's the ignorance of it all. It's just unfortunate. These are the people that are raising these children. What else is y'all saying? This is why women and girls don't come forward, because all of this, and let the evidence speak, and hush, auntie. Auntie done gave all the business. I'm like, defense attorney need to call her to the stand. All these adults are weird. They are, because none of these kids should be familiar with any of this kind of conduct. All of them. All of them. I don't have any information about the little girl, and I don't care. I'm not going to sit here and blame her for some boys, doing what they did to her. Nobody's voluntarily going nowhere to get rock shoved in their mouth and be held down, until the daddy was calling for her. And even if she didn't tell her mother until 2 days later. Maybe she was scared. I don't know the details, and I don't trust this woman's account of the situation. She wasn't there either, but she knows about a neighbor that saw them from the window and that there were 5 or 6 other boys there. And the behaviors are a direct reflection of failing adults around them. Exactly. And these poor kids, all of them. Because I can guarantee you, if I send my kids up north, I'm not at all worried about what's going to be happening with them, while they staying with my family. So, like I said, I don't know where this man was or who he was hanging out with. They're familiar because of what was shown to them. That's what I think, Lotus Egyptian Flower. Where did these boys get that? And listen, you give your kids these devices, they see a lot of stuff. Kids are looking at horrific things on the internet. So, I mean, I'll be keeping up with this story. This is, a sad story for all the children involved, because there's 3 young boys who, their lives are, they're about to be locked up for a very long time. I saw this this morning. This was sent to me, and I was like, this is such the sentiment. I feel like that women, we're sold this fairy tale, and this might be part of the problem as to why we end up, some of us, in the situations that we end up in, because fairy tales ain't real.
You changed your whole self just to fit into his world. Okay. He lied to you the entire time, and you still married him? So you were unconscious, and he No consent. Sweet, do you know what a red flag is? So he locked you in a tower. Okay, I'm gonna hold your hands while I say this. It doesn't matter how many books he gave you, he's still your captor. Okay. Let me get this straight. You changed your whole self.
That was so funny to me. You got the Little Mermaid. She changed her whole self. You got Jasmine, Princess Jasmine, who, hooked up with a liar. Sleeping Beauty was over here being drugged. We heard all these stories, and you grow up with them. Your parents show them, tell them to you, show them to you, and then you end up like kind of, I think, subliminally being caught up in that. I was in the living room the other day with my grandson, and we were singing "Ring Around the Rosie," and I was like, "Ashes, we all fall down." I was like, it feels like everybody just died. How long did we just ring around the Rosie? I'm like, I don't want to sing that to him. That sounds crazy. And yeah, my daughter's like, yeah, it's about, I don't know whether the kids were drugged or unalived or whatever they did to themselves. Don't sing "Ring Around the Rosie" to your children. Here we got Keke Palmer and Debbie Lovato having a conversation about being very young and involved with older men. And then I say that they fast, they grown, the kind of things, the same kind of things as Auntie was saying about the young girl.
I'm 15. Why is my boyfriend 20?
Why was my boyfriend 30?
Girl!
You know what I'm saying?
Damn. I'm not smiling at that, but that is real. We was trying to find outlets, though. I don't think, and also just a way to process this, and nobody our age,
could understand. Nobody our age could understand. But then you look back in hindsight, when I turned 30, I was like, that's not okay.
Girl, the moment when you realize and you get the age of a lot of people that were around you and doing stuff, it's almost a mental break that can happen because you realize, you were taking advantage of. Oh, I was being exploited.
Yeah.
Oh, was very difficult for me when because at 15, I'm thinking like my boyfriend's older because I'm doing an older job and I'm doing a bunch of things and this is the way that it is. And it seemed normal in my mind. But then
especially if you're an older soul too. Especially if you're mature for your age.
I love the Hillary Duff song.
Oh my God, me too.
Yeah, because it's like, we all had the same damn life.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Where people kept telling us you're so mature for your age.
I also wrote a song about that. It's called 29. And when you listen to it, I think you'll be able to relate to it.
Oh, yeah. I found myself dating. I'm 15. Why is my boyfriend 20?
Demi Lovato don't even look like herself. I didn't even know who she was at first. Why do we say that you're mature for your age? I feel like that's a setup. See what y'all are saying. Lullabies are weird. Lullabies are freaking weird. When I think about the ones that my mother used to sing to me. And it's just the norm. Like it's what you sing. What is it? London Bridges Falling Down. They all kind of got a spooky theme to them. I think they all came from dark places, most of them. Come for me if y'all will come for me if you break down childhood stuff. I think it should be a members only. El Cid, why don't you do that? Why don't you do a members only and break down like the lullabies and things? Let's get into it. At Lotus Egyptian Flower, don't you think that would be a good idea if El Cid broke down the nursery rhymes and things? I feel like coming from her would be a very educated perspective. I'm gonna vote for that. Put it in the yes box. El Cid, you better ask El Cid. That's all I have to say. I need Keke to do a little more history because Priscilla Presley plus other experienced the same thing. You refuse to sing London Bridges to your children. Why do we do that? Why do we tell kids that they're mature for their age? Like, what does that mean? Because if you have a young child that, like, I always felt like with my kids, if they ask me a question, I'm going to answer it. I don't care what it is. I can find a way to answer questions without being vulgar and half the times their questions aren't necessarily what you think in your mind they are. Peer pressure is real. El Cid, do it. You have the little boy we talked about the other day, that 9 years old, that is already preparing for college. Is he mature for his age? Probably not. He's smart, but he's probably still like a regular little boy that wants to go play outside and get dirty and stuff. So that's all pressure on that parents put on their kids, or that adults put on the children. She fast. Why is she fast? You know what I'm saying? What does that mean? What are you exposing her to? And why are you blaming her for this, behavior? Because she didn't come up with it on her own. 15 years old with a 30-year-old boyfriend. Keke, Demi, where was y'all's mamas at? Because my mother wasn't having it. Like, the boyfriend, he had to be in high school. I wasn't even allowed to date until I was 16. So he was going to be in high school. He wasn't going to be some grown-ass man. And like I said the other day, I have told my son, like, he can't come around here. He's too old. Go play with somebody else. Go find somebody your own age to play with. As a parent, I don't know, especially like when you're a single parent or you have two working parents, and there has to be, some point in time where you separated from your children. We grew up with latchkey and come home and, let yourself in the house. And, our kids have been vulnerable. Back then, there wasn't any access to the internet. So when your child went in the house, like latchkey children, because my son was, he was required to come in the house and page me immediately. And then I would call him back. And I'm like, did you lock the door? We going over all the things. Make sure this is done. Make sure that is done. But he eating cereal in the living room like he's not supposed to, and watching cartoons. There was no internet. There was no outside influences. So I don't even think your kids need no damn tablets and stuff until they're, teenage, until they're old enough and mature enough to handle that stuff. But, you got Demi and Keke, whose parents put them in the entertainment industry. What do you mean? Because you have an older job. What makes your job? First of all, most kids your age don't have a job. So now your parents have put you in a space that's not safe, because after watching Quiet on the Set, I don't think no children belong on television, to be honest, or in show business. But you got these people. Demi can sing, and she probably did little shows, Nickelodeon stuff. I don't know. I didn't hear about her until she was, singing, a pop star. But you hand your kids over to these people, and Keke's mama, because we did see Keke's baby daddy over here. They was fighting and carrying on because she wore a sexy dress, and it was a lot going on over there with Keke. I don't know that she's still making good choices. We looked at Akilah and we were like, oh, Akilah, so sweet. We did not know that her mama was putting her in a position, Keke's mama, to be dating a 20-year-old man when she was 15. She said boyfriend. That means your mama and daddy knew what was going on. Demi Lovato, 30 years old. What the hell? 30 years old with a 15-year-old girlfriend. Call the police. Where is this man at? And they sitting over here having a candid conversation about it as if, oh my God, we were just so mature for our age. And, now looking back, yes, looking back, I can look back on my life. I remember going on a senior cruise. I don't remember if I told this story or not, but all y'all ain't heard it. Going on a senior cruise. I graduated early too, so I was younger than all of the people in my class. But me and the girl that, was my roommate, I'm the only person of color. So here I am, like, in this school, and I'm the only Black girl. And we hung out with the captain of the ship. We hung out with the co-captain of the ship. They took us here. They took us there. My, counterpart, the roommate, she was trying to hook up with one of them, and I wasn't. Not one of them because they were non-melanated, but I was hanging out with one of the servers on the ship, one of the guys in the band. These were all grown men, and this was a high school trip. And I was telling this story to my daughter, probably 2 or 3 years ago. And as I'm telling the story, I'm like, holy shit. I thought I was like doing something, you know what I'm saying? And really I was, being taken advantage of. And I didn't have sex with either one of these people, but it was just so inappropriate. And had I been down for it, it probably would have happened because they were entertaining me. So as parents, I don't think my mother ever knew anything about that. But the point is, these were boyfriends for these girls. So not only were they in inappropriate situations with people that, the whole point of having your mama there is to protect you. If y'all haven't watched Quiet on the Set, please do, because those kids over there at Nickelodeon and Disney would definitely be taken advantage of. Look at Britney Spears running around here, eye mascara all over her eyes and her underpants, dancing around to, Tupac and stuff. I'm entertained by it, I ain't gonna lie. On to the colonizers. So we know this steakhouse was out here trying to take advantage of Mr. Tenderism. We covered that story a little bit. I never even heard of Tenderism before until this started happening. But it all started, some of it started when Keith Lee, Keith Lee is the guy that goes around, what do they call it? Reviewing restaurants. And he, does, big tips for people and, appreciation for the community. So Keith Lee went over here to, what is this steakhouse? They'll say, I don't even want to say the name of the steakhouse because we ain't fooling with them no more. We just know Mr. Tenderism was over there, creating success for them. Well, Keith Lee went over there. It says, during a sit down with radio host Big Boy, Keith opened up about what happened to the $4,000 tip he originally tried to give to internet sensation Walter Johnson, better known as Mr. Tenderism. Johnson is widely credited with putting Destination Smokehouse, that's it, on the map after his viral video showcasing meat practically falling off the bone. Sent the spot into overnight fame, which eventually led Keith pulling up for a review. Keith didn't hand out perfect scores. He said he still wanted to show the love with a generous tip, but it didn't quite go as he planned. I attempted to go in and have a conversation with Unc. His security said, why do Unc have security? His security said he was at a podcast and not available. Keith explained he previously shared on TikTok that the staff at the restaurant also declined to hold the tip for Mr. Tenderism. So they wouldn't even give it to him, even though he was, he wasn't insisting that he needed to speak to him. But they didn't want to give it to him. They said the staff and restaurant declined to hold the tip for Mr. Tenderism due to security concerns. Stop it. Instead of forcing it, Keith told Big Boy that he and his team redirected the $4,000 back into the surrounding community. I'll let Keith say what happened.
Attempted to go in and have a conversation with Unc. Again, we don't call beforehand. We don't set up meetings. We don't set up no times because the same experience that everybody else gets, I will want the same experience. So when we went in, I just want to have a conversation. Right after we got done eating, I attempted to go in and have a conversation with him, which I understand everybody gets busy. Schedules are different, right? So we went in, his security said he is in a podcast and he is not available. So I said, okay, is there a way that we could just leave him a tip? The plan was to leave him $4,000. And it wasn't from a place to have a conversation with him, which I understand everybody. It was a way to say thank you for what you do for our community.
Right.
So we end up leaving. We end up passing that entire $4,000 out to the community. We met a lady who was driving. She was riding a bike and she had a stroller attached to her bike. And she said that she was taking her niece to school back and forth. It was a way to say thank you for. So we left her $1,000. It was a lady who had just lost her dad that cried the second she saw us. We left her $1,000. We met a lady who was a cheesecake. She made cheesecake like a bakery owner. We left her $1,000.
So, and I mean, this is what Keith does when he goes to these places. There's been them tips be getting people to fall out because a lot of times they be fussing over who the tip was supposed to be for. Let's see, what are y'all saying? Good morning, Motown Investor. I remember there was a man who used to hang out in a diner across from my college. I thought he was a student, but he just a man trying to take advantage of young girls. I mean, men are disgusting. That's all I have to say about that. I don't hate to break it down to such simple terms. Like, in the midst of, some good ones, there's some definitely bad apples, some very nasty, poisonous bad apples. The cheesecake looked great that Keith Lee visited. Is that the cheesecake lady that he was talking about? Like I said, this is what he does. I don't know what Keith Lee's taste buds is like and why do people like, but his, appearance at your establishment can definitely, like you said, turn you into overnight sensation. People run out to go see. Like Keith Lee said it was good, so I'm about to go see. So his endorsement means a lot. And he said he didn't even really he said that they didn't get bad reviews. He didn't say that, but they didn't say he got outstanding reviews either. Well, this guy, that steakhouse dude, he went over here and tried to not patent. I'll be having brain farts. Trademark. He tried to trademark tenderism. So failed. Somebody stepped in and looked out.
Talk to me. We have a meeting. He's the original owner of Tendernism under the trademark. And today, he said, well, I'm going to get the trademark to you. And here he is. Boy, look, Attorney Harris. Yes, sir. Man, you don't know the appreciation. Things have been happening. God is good.
God is good. God is good.
It wouldn't have happened.
Yes, sir.
If it wasn't. And now look at it. Hey, family, see how we reach out and touch. Long time coming, but time is here.
Well, I just want to thank you all for all that you've done for the community. You are a magnificent inspiration to us. And it is time for our community to work together to do big things economically. And it is an absolute honor to begin the process of transferring those trademarks over to you because you deserve it, you created it, and you've created something very, very special for our community. So, and look, we ready to roll. Let's go, man.
Hey, man, look at here. This Tendernism, boy. I'm finna really out. You finna have some fun. I'm finna tenderize the United States. And I say one thing to that. Booyah. My man. Right.
I don't know what the heck Mr. Walter is saying. Neighbors, get into this. Viral barbecue chef Mr. Tenderism has secured a copyrights to his viral catchphrase after being laid off from the company where it all started. That man tried to get rid of him, not laid off. If you are unaware, Walter Unk Johnson is known for shaking his ribs until the bone slides out while yelling tenderism. He coined the phrase to describe the meat that's so tender it basically falls off the bones. His videos at Destination Smokehouse in Murrieta, California helped turn the spot into a viral food destination. Look at how they do you. But things took a messy turn when Johnson recently confirmed he's no longer affiliated with the restaurant. And reports say the owner he did it, trademarked the word tenderism without him. He tried to anyway. Despite the drama, Unk says he's moving forward and building his own tenderism brand with supporters already raising money to help him launch a food truck and possibly his own restaurant. I think a food truck will be fine for Unk. I don't know that he needs a restaurant. It's ribs. You know what I mean? And restaurants, just avoid all the overhead, Unk, and just get you a food truck. After seeing the cards Johnson had been dealt, social users rallied around him and began talking about boycotting the restaurant for cutting him out of the deal. But now, according to his attorney, the trademark is all his. Shout out to that man. Let's hope that he's like on the up and up. I like to say around here, everybody keep their hands on the table, and Unk has been through enough. So definitely, I would love to see Unk get his food truck. By the time the owner had took everything over, it was very obsessive regarding the brand. Yeah, because he knew that he couldn't be the face of it. He's a colonizer, and we know what this is. And I think part of the, I don't know, je ne sais quoi, part of the appeal is Unk. You know what I mean? Because I feel like we all got that Unk in our family. We all got that guy that's, over here like, let me do the grill. You know that guy. I'm not giving out methods to erase myself on this. This is a conversation between you and Elsid. Nick was trying his best to chokehold Unc to keep him under his thumb. Glad Unc had moved on. I am too. Like I said, I hope this attorney is on the up and up. I hate to think like that, but we got to question. Never trust anyone for any reason ever. That's how we have to be moving out here. But what he did do is keep old dude Nick from having, the trademark, because, Nick would have had T-shirts and all kinds of stuff made up and, make a lot of money off of it. So, Nick, you take your mediocre ribs, according to Keith Lee, and move along. And we're going to go over here and we're going to get Unc a fleet of Tendernism food trucks. Know what I'm saying? Anyway, on to other news. Ray J was over here, on the internet doing. Ray J come on the internet so often, and he's being a fool. So we never know what is real and what is not. I do not still believe that Ray J was over there with blood running from his eyes because it looked fake, and it is fake. The trademark is still pending, praying it goes Unc's way. Well, yeah, we're going to hope so, but we're going to support him anyway. At least he blocked the man from doing it. Yeah, Ray J was over here crying bloody tears, and he played too much. And that's why, when you got something wrong with you and people don't believe it, because you always over here cutting a fool. So Ray J called his mom, who always has his back, to come tell y'all that Ray J is not making it up. Ray J is for real about, the situation that he said he's dealing with.
They did an angiogram. And the angiogram indicated that he had a serious heart disease. The next day, they did an angiogram. And the angiogram indicated that he had a serious heart disease. The next day, when blood was pumping 15 to 20%, blood flow was 15 to 20% to his heart. Now, anybody that knows that, they understand that that is a very serious condition. It was so scary and serious that every other word that was explained to us was, this is life-threatening. It's like it rings in my ear, life-threatening. It's almost so scary. It's almost like if he made one move or did one thing, it's life-threatening. So they determined that he had cardiomyopathy. It's almost like if he...
Cardiomyopathy. So I just wanted to read this, paging Dr. A heart doctor here. Cardiomyopathy is a fancy word for heart failure, essentially. It can be caused by a lot of different things, including heart blockages, high blood pressure, drugs, alcohol, and many other things. When the pumping function gets below 35%, that's danger territory. But it can be reversible with medications. Prayers up. So, obviously this is a serious situation, but, cocaine is a hell of a drug. And I don't know what type of narcotics Ray J be over there entertaining, but I don't feel like he's going to stop anytime soon. The only thing I need for Ray J is, wait, what'd you say? Is to tell the truth. What happened to my dear Whitney? Again, cocaine is a hell of a drug. I feel like, Whitney was over there being supplied by Ray J, or maybe even getting high with Ray J, along with that boyfriend of her daughter, where did he go? We don't hear about him no more. We know her daughter is no longer with us because, he was the supplier of the cocaine. Cocaine. Ray J stay on the internet, toe up. Every time we see Ray J, he is a hot mess. So, the doctor, the cardiologist in the comments said, it could be treated. Like, I dealt with heart disease with my mother. And yeah, medications and things, it doesn't cure your problem, but healthy living is definitely a benefit. So if Ray J wants to like be around here for longer, because I think he's only 45, then he gonna have to do better. But I feel like also when you have habits, they deteriorate you to the point where sometimes there's no return. The damage is done. Sonya and Willie should have sat Ray J down a long time ago. I mean, sat him down. He was destined. He was destined to be a bad boy because that's what he wanted to be. What'd you say, Elsie? Maybe Whitney got him in a whole way. She got all these issues allegedly. I mean, they was partying together. That's for sure. They were partying together. So, was he there that day? Yeah, Whitney was a mess that day. When you look at like her interviews and stuff, like pre-Grammy, her passing away, she was a hot mess, sweating all over thing, wig stuck to her forehead. I want Brandy to tell us what's on that letter Whitney passed her. It's sealed, signed in a vault, never to be exposed. That Ray J looked like his mama. I don't know. Ray J, like I said, been out here doing a lot of things for a while. It's getting worse and worse and worse. He was down to the Thanksgiving dinner with his wife, because they ain't divorced, not that I know of. He was down to the Thanksgiving dinner with his wife, pulling out pow-pows on people. So today is Bobby Christina's birthday. I did not know that. Wow, what a coincidence. That's wild how the universe, works. I remember watching that girl walk around on our reality show, and we were all like, why is she doing a show? This is terrible. She shouldn't be here. She was high as a kite, walking around with that pocketbook in her hand at the breakfast table all over. And one of my clients that was a nurse was like, yes, that's what people on drugs do. They carry it around so they don't want to be too far from it. And her and that boyfriend were probably fighting over it. R.I.P. Bobby Christina. From what I understand or what I remember, Pinky doesn't have a what do you call it, prenup. So if Ray J expires, then she's probably gonna inherit quite a bit of money. So take care of yourself out there, child. Speaking of bad boys, your boy Puff is in the news. I don't know how you're gonna feel about this. It may not be as bad as you think, because when I first read the headline, I was like, hell no. I knew this was going to happen. So y'all here for it? Diddy reportedly set for early release after being accepted into a drug abuse rehab program. Okay. It looks like Diddy could be coming home a little sooner than maybe expected. According to federal records viewed by E! News, the 56-year-old who's currently serving a 50-month sentence on prostitution-related charges is now scheduled to be released on April 25th, 2028. His release date was originally for May 8th, 2028. And I'm laughing because they make this announcement like he getting to leave a few days early. He getting 20 days taken off of his sentence. At the point where at one point was pushed back to June 4th, 2028, but it has since been moved up. Diddy is currently being held at Fort Dix Federal Correction Institute, a low security prison in New Jersey. He was transferred there in October from Metropolitan Detention Center in New York. So, I mean, as far as I'm concerned, I really wanted this dude to be locked up for an extended amount of time. I don't think he was over there being freaky. I think he was over there being Satan. I never liked Sonya either. Me either. It was just the way she, coddled Ray J. She's a liar, just like when she said Brandy was married to that man. Yeah, and remember when Brandy got in that accident with them people? Those family has had a lot of drama over there. But are y'all excited? Diddy gets 20 days knocked off his sentence? When I first saw that, I was like, so disappointed. And I was like, 20 days? I mean, can we add another 20 days? Y'all going in the wrong direction. I hope by the time Diddy gets out, all his money is spent up and he has to go sit down somewhere. For goodness sake. He's being a good boy, but I think he's still a bad boy. Speaking of bad boys, bad boy Billy. Bad boy Billy was down to the courthouse. This is where we met this man. This is funny to me because I was like, when we were introduced to Bill Clinton, he was down to the courthouse for being inappropriate with women. Now he's down here, with the Epstein file. So let's hear what Billy has to say.
I get is some context for the public on whether you remember this photo and any details you may be able to provide us about it. So do you recall the details of this photo or recall the photo being taken?
No, I don't think I ever knew the photo was taken.
I did not have sexual intercourse with that woman.
You in a hot tub. There's a person next to you here. Do you remember where it was taken? Where was it taken?
I'm almost sure that this taken, I think there's an adjacent photograph, which you probably have, that if people saw it, they would feel that someone was trying to con them showing this picture. But anyway, this picture was taken in Brunei. And we flew one night on a trip to Asia, the last very long leg.
You said we, is it who is that including?
Well, my TIL team that was working on the AIDS issue, and Mr. Epstein was there, and Miss Maxwell. But anyway, we got to the end of the flight was Brunei. It's a tiny place, but a very wealthy one. And the Sultan of Brunei was a man that I had gotten to know well in my 8 years as president. And his first involvement with international matters was basically to join the Asian Pacific Economic Leaders Conference, which I started and which he attended. And then he was very proud of that. And he hosted, his time came to host it. You do these things in a rotation. And it came either at the very end of my term or maybe the next year. Anyway, he wanted, when he knew I was coming, and he said he wanted to help me with my AIDS initiative, and he invited me to stay there. And he said, I want you to stay at this hotel, and I hope you'll use the pool. So I did, and then I got out and went to bed, exhausted.
Just for the record, there's another picture that also shows this as part of the larger pool area. Do you all have that so that he can refresh his recollection with respect to that?
You should have it. It's quite enlightening. If you watch this,
Yes, it's noted.
It'll give you a different feel.
Thank you.
Okay.
We don't have it with us right now.
Okay.
We do.
Thanks. I just wanted to make sure he knew the
And so were there other people in that pool or hot tub with you as well?
I don't think there's anybody in the hot tub. I didn't forgotten that there was anybody in the hot tub, but it was big, but it was about.
Well,
He's asking in the pool
it appears
area.
this photo, there's a girl over here. Is there someone?
Yeah, I don't know who that is.
But he's also asking in the pool area whether other
Yes,
individuals.
I don't know who that is.
Okay, so you don't know?
No, and then there were other people in the pool.
Okay, so do you remember were they under 18? Would you know? No.
Were they part of your traveling party? He's asking you.
Yes, they were, I think. I think everybody there was part of our party. It was late at night or late-ish. And I also believe that there was a Secret Service agent there at the other end of the pool.
Okay, and was this in public?
No, it was a hotel room, and the Sultan wanted us to stay there, and the water of this big pool was on the same floor that there were several suites, so we went out, I swam around, I sat in the hot tub for 5 minutes, or whatever it was, and I got up and went to bed.
And then I have to ask this, did you engage in any sexual activity with this person? Okay, thank you.
Okay. And that ends this round, and we can go off the record.
And what we're trying to get at is
I mean, I don't know that this man remembers what he even had for breakfast this morning. Y'all want him to remember that time he went down to the freak off where the Sultan had them set up at some hotel. Jennifer Flowers, listen, this nasty man was over there sticking cigars in a cootie cat of 18-year-old interns, and the world villainized Monica Lewinsky. You know what I'm saying? She was a nasty girl when she was basically taken advantage of by Bill Clinton and Linda Tripp. If you've never seen I don't know the name of it, but it's on FX, and it's the story about Linda Tripp, played by Paula Paulson. You don't even recognize her in that, but it shows like how this lady was taking advantage of Monica the same way Bill was. So now we want him to sit up here. I don't know that lady. You've been saying that since we met you, Bill. And now we got Hillary over here. You stood by your man, and here you go again down to the courthouse trying to explain how he wasn't in the hot tub with underage children. You never liked Sonia. Yeah, we talked about that. Bill's first victim was Jennifer Flowers. At the end of the day, none of the girls implemented Bill Clinton with any crimes, unlike Trump and Prince Andrew. Maybe he would, I don't know. I'm not saying he did anything, but it being there is definitely inappropriate. They didn't implement him. That's probably why he went running over to, I guess he had to go over there. What does this have to do with anything? Let's get Trump over there on the stand. See what he have to say. He gonna lie just like the rest of them. Clinton needs to take care of that black son in Arkansas. What? He did Fancy Ladies of the Night. What? He got some insight. We're going to have to look into that. So Bill Clinton was over there in Arkansas denying paternity to a black child. These guys are disgusting. They're all disgusting. Bill Clinton been lying since the day we met him. What he described, like we were all there and the Secret Service was there. He got in the hot tub for 5 minutes. He remembers that part. I don't know this girl. I don't know why we're wasting time with this. He's not the president anymore. He was impeached. But we got this man over here deciding he gonna terrorize, the world for whatever reason. I guess in order to be king. We can't end it there. We've been here for just over an hour. I appreciate y'all for hanging out with me today. We're not going to let Bill be the way we continue on with the rest of the day. We got to end on a positive note. And this one is very close to my heart personally because it leans into my wheelhouse. Black women turn segregation into entrepreneurship. Oh, Black women again. How sewing became an early Black-owned business movement. So when segregation limited where Black women could shop, work, and build, many turned to sewing. What started as a necessity became entrepreneurship. Black women became seamstresses, dressmakers, and designers, building early fashion business that served their communities when mainstream spaces shut them out. This wasn't just about clothing. It was about ownership, economic survival, and laying a foundation for future Black empires. Segregation. That's all I can say. Designers, hairstylists, builders. We've covered in this last month of Black History Month, but we don't carry on because, Black history doesn't end in February. But we've talked about so many people of color that are perfectly capable of surviving without, we created, technology that we over here using. We've created everything. Let's be clear. What'd you say, Elsie? Can he remember the cigar brand from Monica at the time? I bet he can because he know what kind of cigars he was smoking. This entire ordeal is a distraction that Barron purchased 130 million barrels of oil. lotus Egyptian flower, that is a whole nother situation. We will probably talk about that, if not Thursday, then, we'll get it in there next week sometime. Texas messed up again, and they got rid of Jasmine Crockett yesterday. They hate to see a Black girl shine. She fought the fight in Texas. I saw it coming. It doesn't stop her from, making all the noise. She's suing them because they turned away voters. We should expect this to be happening this election season. We should not wait until the last minute. We're going to have to get out there early. We're going to have to do our due diligence, because they're going to do everything they can, to keep us from voting. But, in the meantime, y'all, focus on segregation and this revolution. And I'm going to do the same. Y'all like the video, subscribe to the channel. Again, thank you for hanging out with me. And I will see you when I see you. Bye, y'all.